USA Warrior Stories is a not-for-profit organization designed to record, archive, and share videos of veteran stories, to help veterans make a connection with one another and to help us all better understand their sacrifices for our freedoms.
Fort Benning, Georgia, the home of the infantry, of course. Every U.S. Army infantry guy goes through Benning. It's a rite of passage. I joined in '03. After basic training, I did my airborne school. I'm 5-jump chump. That means that you just did your 5 jumps to qualify. I got sent to Fort Lewis after that. It was kind of a big culture shock when I got to the military, but it blew my mind when I went over to Iraq. I remember sitting in, before we even got to Iraq, we used to have mission briefs on landmines, and they were like, Iraq's one of the biggest landmine places in the world, and you're like, great. Every step I'm gonna have to take is gonna be looking for mines. Did a lot of cool guy stuff while I was over there. You know, a lot of raids, a lot of patrols and whatnot. You know, I know that I participated in over 75 raids myself in less than a year, and that's with the Delta guys, SEALs, and all the cool guys that you hear about. I remember our very first raid. That was a pretty crazy raid right there itself because we did it with 4th ID, and I was brand new Cherry Private over in Iraq. Never even been around a Abrams tanker or anything. I've been around Strikers, and I thought they were wow, man, those things are cool as hell. But no, 4th ID was attached to us, and then I remember RPG being shot from us, and I remember this Abrams just stopping and boom, and just blowing this whole house apart, and I was just like, holy shit. That was in the instance right there that war was real. It was real. People were going to be there to hurt you, and this is not a game. This is real life. If your decision is going to impact not only your life, but the men around you as well. Believe it or not, when I was over there, we found chemical weapons. We found barrels of mustard gas and stuff like that in a bunker. A lot of the things that we were looking for when I was there, we were hunting down Ba'ath Party members, people that was part of Saddam's regime that we were still chasing. I was in Baghdad for a little bit, made our way up through the Sunni Triangle and into Mosul and whatnot. Mosul was just a whole different beast on its own. We got rocketed, mortared. We definitely had some sniper fire there. But some of the raids that I was part of was just very intense raids, house to house to house to house. And brigade wide, you got 5,000 troops, air support out there, all sorts of crazy stuff. So, Mosul was pretty crazy. And all sorts of crazy things would happen on these raids. I remember one time on a raid, we had translators, we call them Terps. We had some Terps with us and whatnot. And then you would have their Iraqi National Guard with you, or the Iraqi police that would tag along with you and whatnot. And we're sitting there, we're right in the middle of a raid, a raid. We're sitting in this dude's house, we're sitting there pulling securities, wife and kids are over here crying and everything. And you got this dude over here in zip cuffs and a sandbag over his head, and he's crying like a little girl. And then right in the middle of all this, our interpreter takes a phone call, and he's sitting there talking to somebody. And if we don't think anything of it, dude lives over there. Might be his mom or something, you never know. Although I don't think taking a phone call in the middle of a raid is cool, but no, one of the Iraqi National Guard guys is like, hey man, he's telling dudes where we're at right now. He's informing people what we're doing right now in this dude's house. And we're like, what? Our interpreter that's been with us for 3 or 4 months has literally been working with these guys over here. So we just got to grab this guy, throw him in the back of the vehicle, and we're taking away the Terp, zip cuffing him, putting his sandbag. We got to get out of there, It was crazy. You just some of the stuff like that happens over there. You know, IEDs were really scary for us. One of my squad leaders lost his arm to an IED, and we lost some friends to IEDs and stuff like that. Those things were just nasty. Everybody has this representation that, you know, war is like crazy 24/7. And a lot of times it's you being bored. It's like 80% of the time you're bored. You're sitting there smoking and joking with your buddy in a guard tower. Nothing's been going on. It's been dead for the last 2 months. And then out of nowhere, I don't know, it's just crazy. You'll start getting RPGs shot at you. You got mortars coming in at you. You're getting small arm fire. And then, you know, it's just, you're out on patrol. You're getting hit with IEDs. It's just, what it is people are watching you. They're watching your every movement. They're watching what routes you take, and they're making plans. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that. You know, that's what the war was like over there. This one place that is just god awful, okay? It was on the outskirts of Iraq. We went to it because we heard that there was a lot of activity going on in the area. So we get there, and what it was one of Saddam's old prisons. And what was really crazy about this was there was a bunch of kids that lived there that had been displaced over time by war and stuff like that. But like the air in the place smelled like death. It's just, there's no other way to describe it. It just smelled like death. And like you just felt like just terrible being there. Like it's just the worst place I've probably ever been in my life. That's the worst place that I was ever in Iraq at. It was just this place. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird. I continued my service till, like I said, about 2007. When I got out of the military, I felt lost. I joined at 17 and got out when I was pretty much 23. And those are formidable years for you to be an adult, you know what I'm saying? And I think that I think that you lose yourself and your identity when you're in the military. And I think that when you get out of the military, you got to rediscover yourself. And I think you're mission-minded when you're in the military, and that's a hard transition to go back to being a civilian because there's no mission out here unless you put yourself on a mission. I had problems with PTSD. I couldn't sleep very well. I had anger issues. I was violent. I had drinking problems, depression. I was suicidal. And I think a lot of that stemmed from me feeling like I was worthless because I didn't have a mission anymore. Like I didn't know who I was. I was going through a lot of things. I didn't know how to define myself. And I tried to commit suicide one time and it failed. Shitty reloads. The primer didn't go off. But it was at that point where I had already been in trouble with the law and I felt like I didn't have a reason to go on. And I started looking into the veteran community for help, and you know, this is where I'm at now. When I started digging in deeper for that, I found a mission. I found a reason to change my life. We're here to remember, you know, everybody's sacrifice. It was another reason for me to give back and not feel empty. To me, PTSD is PTSD, or, you know, survivor's guilt, you know, we all have things in common. And I think that you take away, whether you're a veteran or not, we're all human. And, you know, I just think that, you know, that's an important thing for a lot of people to understand, especially in the warrior community, that it's okay to be human. It's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to open up to your brothers and sisters, because a lot of us understand where you're at in life.